Did you ever feel extra pressure following in your father's footsteps?
When I was young, yeah, living in Canada and playing hockey as Bobby Hull's son in Canada, it was it took me until I was 15, I think, and trying to you always hear it, right? God, I thought he'd be better. That's Bobby Hull's son. I'm just a little fat little kid anyway, right? I was not the best skater or whatever, but from the neck up, I was better than everyone because I got it.
Yeah.
But I was a lazy little fat fucker, so and I think that's the basis of my success is because I didn't give a shit.
Hell yeah.
Right? I did. And so at 15 years old, I remember looking in the mirror and I said, you're Brett Hull. I go, you're not Bobby Hull. You're never going to be Bobby Hull. So just be you, invent yourself. And then it all just went away. And it was like, yeah, I'm Brett Hull. And I always said, your father cast this huge shadow, right? Mm. And so what I said to myself is, if I could just put one foot in his shadow and extend his shadow with mine, I'll be just fine. Right? And embrace his awesomeness and his Hall of Fameness, but make you
stay true to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that's finally what did it for me was I'm like, I love my dad and I think he's the greatest player to ever play the game, but I just want to be a part of that and extend that legacy, and it worked out.
That's great, man.
Yeah, it's funny, right? How things work.
When you say from the neck up, assuming you mean like your mental game.
Yeah.
But can you kind of expand on that a
little
bit?
Yeah, it's so that if you watch any sport, right, like a team sport, there's always you always look at people and it's like, well, that guy's he's working way too hard, right? And so I was watching players and I'm like, man, does that guy waste a lot of energy out there? So I used my mental, right? So what that guy would do to get to where I wanted to go, he'd go 3 times as far to get to where I went in 2 seconds. I go, well, I'm just going to go there, right? I'm not going to start bouncing off people and checking people. I'm like, I'm just going to go and this is where I'm going to go. And this is where I'm going to go to score a goal. Mm-hmm. I go, why do I have to expend a lot of energy to do that? Right. So I used my brain to understand where the game was going, and I would use my brain to get there ahead of everyone. And I don't know what it was. I got it. Like I knew, like my coaches would sometimes ask me, they go, what the hell are you doing out there? And I go, don't worry. It'll all work out. Right. I'm like, I don't, like they used to, like I said before, I'm a little fat little bastard, right? You've known me forever. And they'd always go, we need you lighter. Hmm. And I go, Coach, I can't get lighter because I'll get to my spots too quick. And it's not the right time to get to the spot. I need to get to my spot when I get to my spot. And I go, you may not understand it. It may not make any sense to you, but I go, I play the game at my speed. And if I get too light, I get too quick, and I'm not playing my game.
Wow.
But they don't, coach, they're dumb. They don't get that. It's like, oh, no, you have to be light. You're supposed to play it this way. And I'm like, no, hold on. I got 80 goals.
Yeah.
Like, see that super fast guy over there with 4 goals? It's not doing him any good. I go, let me do what I do. This like I'm an expert at it. I know what I'm doing.
That should be the only argument you need.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't, you played sports your whole life, right?
Yeah.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
That's why they coach, because they can't play.
Yep. Well, it's a true testament to you knowing yourself, and self-awareness of like, look, this is what works for me. It's going to work and it's going to make me a better player regardless. Even if it was a mental thing, who cares?
Right.
That's what worked. Do your thing.
And it's going to make us
a
better team.
Yep.
Right. Yep. If I can't play to my potential, we're not going to be as good a team.
And it's really introducing a change. If something works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So it's like, this is working, let's go.
Right. I had a coach, Bob Berry. He's a great guy. I'm not going to say he's the greatest coach ever, but he's one hell of a guy. And I was kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say negative, but like to me, looking at like Wayne Gretzky, well, it's pretty obvious he's awesome, right? So I never talked about that. I talked about the bad players. And so I would go to the coaches and go, is that the best we got? I mean, there's 500,000 hockey players in Canada, and that's the best we got. We can't find a guy that's better than that. And so he would give me, he goes, not everyone's as good as you. And I go, I don't want everyone to be as good as me. I want them to be good, period. I want them to be able to do the fundamentals, skating, shooting, stick handling, being able to see the ice and understanding the game. And there was, like in the 90s when I was playing, there was so many guys that had no clue how to play the game. And I'm like, either you need to fire your scouts because they have no clue what talent is, or you need to find a better player. And so Bob Berry, he kind of took that from me, and he would tell the team, he'd go, he goes, there's positive, there's negative, and then there's realistic. And he goes, I try to talk to all you guys like I look at you as a realistic situation. You're either not good or you're good, right? You all have your roles to play. And some guys, like some of the greatest players I played with were defensive players, right? They were good checkers. They knew what to do with the puck. They could stop an opponent from scoring, right? Not everyone has the skill set to just go out and score all the time, right? So there's a lot of different roles in a team. And so you knew like those guys were good, but then there was guys that were useless at both, like had no clue how to play. And it's like, how in the hell did you get to the NHL?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's all trying to improve your team, right?
Right. And you take a look at, like I did I'm doing on ESPN Plus, I'm doing Detail. Remember the Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for the NHL, and I just finished this morning episode 2 with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And it is like when you get to watch it and break it down like that, it's like these guys are going to win their 3rd Stanley Cup because they are so well coached. They have such a high skill level, and they all work in the same direction. Like it is the most cohesive unit of players I've seen in my whole life. They are unreal.
I'm really excited to check that out. I love that show.
Yeah, it's going to be, and I'll tell you what, there's 2 series that you need to watch. It's Edmonton, Calgary, which is an awesome rivalry, the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah.
And then Tampa, Florida are playing each other in the next round.
Oh, wow.
And they are bitter rivals.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome.
That's like 2 regional rivals.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
like just bitter hatred, right? And the fans love that. Is there nothing better than that?
Nah.
Love that. It's going to be unreal. You have to watch it.
I'm excited to see your breakdown too.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.
Thanks for tuning in to Studio 22.